Hello, people. I finished a book a couple days ago, actually. I finished this. Farthest North, the incredible 3-year voyage to the frozen latitudes of the North. This is written by a guy named Fridtjof Nansen. And, I'm probably butchering that first name. It was a pretty good book. The last time I was over at King Book, they got like a whole shitload of these polar exploration. They have a real tiny area, and they got a whole shitload of these. And I think this is the second one that I've read. And I'm trying to do a better job getting to these, like, right after I finish them. But I'm already 100 pages into another one, and these are letting me know how much I need to catch up on, how much I don't know about the polar exploration. I'm going to go back sometime this week and get, I believe they have like a 2-volume set there of, it's either Shackleton's first time in Antarctica, or it's Scott's. I can't remember which one it is, but I'm going to pick that up. This is a really good book. I guess my only complaint about it is, I've read Scott and I've read Shackleton, what they wrote, and they're pretty good writers. Nansen, not so much. I mean, he's not terrible, but he does some things that to me anyway are a little bit irritating. When you try to write real flowery prose, and you try to describe a sunset as if you're some kind of a poet or something. I don't like that. The book was written in 1897. Nansen had got the idea to, well, let me just say this: you can't read anything on polar exploration without running into Nansen's name. He didn't lose any men. He got the idea to allow his ship. Most people tried to avoid getting frozen in the ice. Nansen, that was his whole idea, was to get frozen into the ice, to get as far north as he could and get frozen in. And then he thought that the currents in the Arctic would take him to the North Pole. At that time, a lot of people still believed that there was a continent there. I don't think Nansen believed that, and he developed his theories because they found wood that was from Siberia. They would find it in Greenland, and it almost worked. The boat that he went on was called the Fram, and he had it specially built so that when it got squeezed by the ice, the ice is coming together like that. A lot of ships were crushed like that, and the entire crew then had to take to the ice. And so Nansen's idea was to build, the ship a little bit rounder, so that when it got squeezed, it would be lifted up instead of crushed. I got fourth paragraph here, page XIV. So that's still in the introduction. So I can hear my cat howling to get back in. And I thought I could see well enough here, but I didn't turn any lights on. So hopefully I can read. It was, however, not the deed that mattered so much, but the manner of its doing. At a certain point during his voyage, it became clear that the Arctic drift would not lead directly to the pole. So Nansen, with one companion, left Fram in the spring of 1895 and headed out across the frozen sea. Having reached their northernmost latitude, they were unable to find their way back to the ship because it was moving with the ice. They made for land as originally intended. After traveling for 700 miles over the pack ice, they were trapped for the winter on an Arctic desert isle in the Franz Josef Land archipelago. There they lived a Robinson Crusoe existence in a squalid hut. The following summer, in another part of the archipelago, they met Frederick Jackson, an English explorer, and were rescued. It is this journey that lies at the heart of Farthest North. I'm going to go have to let the cat inside the house because he's there fucking yowling. I told him that he was a bad kitty. The book is 491 pages. In the beginning, while they're still on the Fram, Nansen does not do a great job. Things just don't mesh with the little maps that they give me. He doesn't do a great job telling me where he's at. What they did is they left from Norway, and they sailed along the coast like of Siberia, and they headed north from there. There's a lot of killing of wildlife in this book. For a little while there, it's like every 5-6 pages, they're killing a mother polar bear and its cubs. In the beginning, at least, it doesn't seem like they take all of these animals and use them for food. Now, when Nansen is on his sledging trip, and especially when he's stuck on this island in the Franz Josef Land, they need to do this, and they need to do it to survive. And that doesn't bother me as much when I read about them killing seals and killing foxes and killing walrus and just letting them sink to the bottom. There's even one point where Nansen drops his favorite shotgun into the ocean. They come back with like a grappling hook and a rope, and there's a walrus that keeps going around them, looking at what they do, and they just shoot it. They know they're not going to get that thing. And yes, I know times were different then, but certainly not everybody was doing it. A lot of Nansen's inner thoughts, he got to points where he doubted himself, and he writes that down. I mean, page after page of it. It gets a little bit irritating. They left the Fram because they didn't think the Fram was going to go any further north. The Fram, however, does go further north, and then goes to the west, and they get back out. They end up going back down south, and they get back out just north of Norway. They don't lose a man. They don't lose their boat. He could have just stayed on the boat. I suppose it wouldn't have been as interesting a story if he did, though. I got a little bit more reading to do. Second paragraph, 279. Now I'm wishing that I turned the light on in here. Actually, the words are not that hard to see, but the page number is a little bit smaller. Second paragraph. They take dogs with them, and as usual in polar exploration, dogs, horses, they're expendable. We killed, I'm not going to try this Norwegian name, yesterday evening, and hard work it was skinning him. This was the first dog which had to be killed, but many came afterwards, and it was some of the most disagreeable work we had on the journey, particularly now in the beginning when it was so cold. When this first dog was dismembered and given to the others, many of them went supperless the whole night in preference to touching the meat. But as the days went by and they became more worn out, they learned to appreciate dog's flesh, and later we were not even so considerate as to skin the butchered animal, but served it hair and all. Oh, I gotta go back to 258. And I actually remember what 258 was. Hopefully I can find that spot. We must remember Carlyle's words. A man shall and must be valiant. He must march forward and quit himself like a man, trusting imperturbably in the appointment and choice of the upper powers. I have not, it is true, any upper powers. It would probably be well to have them in such a case. So it sounds like maybe Nansen was a little bit irreligious. And then here at the end, 431, I'm almost done. Bear with me one more little bit of reading. This one's humorous, that's why if I can find the fucking thing. This is when they come back, and he's not on the Fram, he's on this guy's yacht. And Norway didn't have too many heroes, but Nansen became one, like instantly. Word traveled. Everybody came out to the coast to see if they could catch a glimpse of him. We had been going slowly through them, but now I can't pronounce that. In front, put on more speed, and we too went a little quicker. A fisherman in his boat toiled at the oars to keep up with us. It was no easy work. Then he shouted up to me, "You don't want to buy any fish, do you?" "No, I don't think we do." "I suppose you can't tell me where Nansen is. Is he on board the Fram?" "No, I believe he's on board this ship." "Oh, I wonder if I could get on board. I'm so desperately anxious to see him." "It can hardly be done, I'm afraid. They haven't had time to stop now." "That's a pity. I want to see the man himself." He went on rowing. It became harder and harder to keep up, but he stared fixedly at me as I leaned on the rail smiling, while Christopherson stood laughing at my side. "Since you're so anxious to see the man himself, I may tell you that you see him now," said I. "Is it you? Is it you? Didn't I guess as much? Welcome home again." And thereupon the fisherman dropped his oars, stood up in his boat, and took off his cap. I thought that was kind of a cute little story. That's it. I'll be done with that other book in no time because I'm really cruising through there. Thanks for watching.